Hello and welcome to the Blackout, where I get to talk to amazing people who do amazing things. And today my guest is Jennifer O'Neill, and Jennifer does a couple of things, and we're going to break it all down today.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming to the podcast
Thank
today.
you for having me.
Okay, so I remember I was seeing on LinkedIn, and it was a post about what Spinco was doing is like giving back in a way.
Yes.
I'm like, holy smokes, this is interesting. Like, I don't do spinning because it looks scary.
It is not scary. We got to go spinning sometime.
But like,
Seriously.
yeah, tell me. So, why did you? What's the initiative, and like, what was your part in setting that up?
Yes. So I'm a volunteer at Shelter Movers, but also I work as a volunteer services manager for Nova Scotia. And I also spin at Spinco. And I have over 100 classes. I love the community, incredible people, lots of love there. And they actually approached me about doing Spin It Forward for Shelter Movers. So the last Spin It Forward was awesome. It was on the waterfront. I think that's probably the post that you saw. And so a percentage of all the rides went to Shelter Movers directly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, what happens in essential? What's Spin Forward?
So Spin It Forward every
Spin
Friday.
It Forward.
Spin It Forward, yeah. So that particular ride was during the day on a Sunday, but every Friday at 5:30 at the studio, the proceeds for that ride go to a charity. So every week another charity is picked. We've been fortunate at Shelter Movers where they've chosen us multiple times. Yeah.
Okay, so Shelter Movers shows up a lot. Do you want to talk a bit about what Shelter Movers is?
Yes. So Shelter Movers, we've been in Nova Scotia for 3 years, 6 years total across Canada. But it is a volunteer-powered nonprofit. We provide free moving and storage services for families fleeing violence and abuse.
You know, I mean, I have friends I talk to, and they share things like this where, especially during the pandemic, where some people were happy because like you're at home with people that you care about and you're not tired of seeing their faces and stuff. Versus then a friend put up a post that said something like, there are people now that are in the worst situation they can be in because they are trapped with their abusers. Like, you kind of have no place to go. So when you mentioned that, I was like, holy smokes, like you don't even think that's something that is needed,
No.
Yeah.
No.
How did you get to work at Shelter Movers?
So years ago, I volunteered with SHIM, which is supporting housing for young mothers. And I was a single parent at the time with a young child. And I wanted to work in that community with young women to show that, you can be a single parent and still thrive and, get beyond, being a single parent and still make your way in life. So I would go on outings with them. I would take them grocery shopping. I would babysit their children. So that was a really great experience. And then I became busy with my own life. And then my daughter's now 17. And, when they turn to be teenagers, they don't want to hang around with you as much, which is fine. I thought that would never happen, but it did. And I love her. She's great. But I found myself having some extra time and I really wanted to get back into that sector. I saw it on Facebook. And when I read the description, I thought, holy bleep.
Actually, you can say what you
Holy
want.
fuck, this doesn't exist. What?
Yeah.
And I was Googling, like, moving services for, and it doesn't exist. And I thought, what the hell? This doesn't exist. So, if if you have to move in just a perfect situation, it's very daunting for any of us to move. But imagine having to move where, you're afraid to leave. You probably need police escort or security. You need people to move you. You need money to move. You need a place to go. Like, there's so many barriers for people to leave these situations. So signed up, did the orientation, and one of my first move, it was a high risk urgent exit move with security.
Oh my God.
So I got,
wow.
I just went
Talk about being baptized by fire.
I was like, okay. And I was like, okay. And it was, going in, packing everything up. She had 2 children. So, when you're looking around, you can kind of piece their life together and, the pictures and the the toys, and it was very emotional, and obviously she was emotional as well. So pack everything up, security's there just to make sure the abuser doesn't show up and cause any issues. But it was a very successful move. She got to leave. Everything went well, and she can start her healing with her children. So from there, after the third move, they asked if I would step up and be a lead mover, which means basically being the leader on a move.
Oh, okay.
Speaking with the police or security, and working with the client. And I did, and I've been doing that for over 2.5 years now. Doing moves. I did one last week. Yeah.
You say this and it's beautiful, but like it must also be heavy, right? Because each one is different.
Yes.
How do you handle it?
Yeah, people do ask me that. And I find depending on the type of move, like I did a move last week, it was a high risk, urgent exit, police escorted because of the situation that the client was in, the survivor was in, and, children and the abuser could come back as we were moving out. But, at the end of those kind of moves, I always go to a coffee shop and just kind of decompress and kind of, I wish these people well. I send them love, and I just hope that day their trauma the trauma can start healing. They can start healing. We're kind of like the last step. There's a whole series of things that happen before we show up at the moving truck, but I feel like I have to be happy about it. It has to be. It's a happy thing. Yeah. So.
Oh wait, sorry, John. Does spinning help?
Spinning does help. Oh gosh, yes. Yes. I love spinning. Like I spin my heart out. And sometimes, I will cry when I'm spinning because it's such an emotional release sometimes. And the instructors at SpinCo are amazing, and it really is you see on the memes and everything's you came here to change. Believe in yourself. And I'm yes. I'm the one who's normally yelling a lot. I'm whoa. That's me. Yeah. You ask any of the instructors, they know when I'm in their class, and they're Jen, go Jen. Yes, Jen. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So there's something else that you do, and that's real estate.
Yes.
And I think so. COVID kind of changed a lot of things, and then when it started, where Nova Scotia was pretty much one of the safest places in the planet.
Yes.
A lot of people moved, and that just means prices skyrocket.
Yes.
What, I guess, with everything you do, made you decide to, get into real estate?
I have always loved real estate. I've always owned properties. I've been a landlord since my late 20s, and I'm going to be 50 this month. So anyways, the countdown is on to the big 50. And I've always maybe not believed in myself enough to do it. I've always had these really great, these positions with corporate companies, with the shares and the pension and all this and the security. But I was ready to, believe in myself and just do it. And I have no regrets. I am so in love with my career. I went with England Brokers, and they are incredible. The reason why I chose them is they give back to the community. They have a program where they buy a family a home. They did that last year, which is that is going above and beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's huge. No, they don't mess around when they give back. And we also support Special Olympics. Donna Harding, who's the owner of the brokerage, she's a mentor for me. She's an incredible woman, served in the military. And always believes in doing the right thing. My husband actually encouraged me to just to do it. He said, "You're going to be incredible. Follow your dreams. You've always wanted to do this. Do it." So I did it, and I'm doing it.
And what is the process exactly?
Yeah, so you take the course through NSAR.
NSAR
is the Nova Scotia Association of Realtors.
Okay.
And I had an incredible class. I'm friends with everyone in this class.
Was it online, in
No, it was the
person?
first class in a very long time.
Oh.
Yeah, it was awesome. So I organized study groups.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah,
You can't help yourself.
I can't help myself. So yeah, they called me the class mother. They were calling me Mama Jen, which is really funny because my daughter's friends call me Mama Jen. So I was like, that's interesting. What's happening here? What does this mean? So yeah, became very close with our class, very supportive of each other. And yeah, studied our hearts at the day before the exam. We studied for 5 hours at my house.
Holy shit. How long is the process?
It's only 4 months.
Okay.
Sorry, 4 weeks. Sorry, 4 weeks. Then you've got to wait for the exam, and then you write the exam a few weeks later after the course. Or some people actually waited because they just felt they weren't prepared yet. And so I went and wrote it right away, passed, did well, and then started the journey with Angle Invokers.
Oh, okay. So do you have to kind of plan for which brokerage you work for first before your exams, or?
Yes, you should probably have it narrowed down because to get your license, you have to be attached to a brokerage to have your license.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you can't be like an independent.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you start yours, or?
Not yet. No. I think I'm good. I'm good where I am. Yeah. You can't just get a brokerage license from day one.
So what of there are a couple in the city, big ones.
Yes.
Why did you decide to go with the Angle and Vocus?
I went with Angle Invokers because they have a strong sense of giving back. They last year they bought a family a home. So they really give back. Yeah. A family that needed a home. They're working on another project like that now. They give back to the Special Olympics. Like next week, we're all going for a walk. We've raised money for the Special Olympics. It's a very strong brand, and it's about integrity. The owner of the brokerage, Donna Harding, is an incredible woman. I consider her my mentor. She's been so supportive of me, and supporting me throughout this journey of like learning and holding my hand, and she she served in the military. She actually teaches as well, teaches courses. And when I approached her about coming on board, I did let them know that I was doing work with Shelter Movers, like volunteering, but also with the leadership team in Nova Scotia. And she thought that was amazing and was very happy that I had that strong sense of giving back to the community and being involved.
Wow. It's great that you have that, because I think it's important to know like what your set of values are, because that makes making decisions easier, right? When you have like, I don't know, 6-7 brokerages to choose from, the one that was aligned with what you believe in. So for me, like, if I have an opportunity, I'm like, okay, I can do the switch, but I won't be able to do X, Y, Z. Even though that money looks good, it's not worth it,
Absolutely. I've definitely worked with companies where I wasn't aligned with the values, the leadership. I come from, corporate, and there was one picture I remember that's very vividly, where I'm the only woman in the picture. It's myself and I think 10 other men, and that's been kind of my path, trailblazing a little bit. But definitely. I feel like so comfortable there. I feel supported there. When I walk in the office, it's just like, oh, I'm home. Yeah, it sounds funny, but yeah.
What is a typical day like there?
Typical day. So, for example, today, right after here, I'm walking over to Agricola West project. So we're selling condos in there, it's a really great project by Atlantic Developments. So I'll be doing an open house for the rest of the day. I've got a friend coming to look at one of the units. He's quite excited. He used to have a unit in the theater lofts. He misses it. So
it's
on Gottingen.
Yeah, no. I mean, I kind of see when I pass.
Yeah,
it's not far from the studio, so like it's not there anymore. Cause like that sign is still there. Oh my god. A lot of things happening in North End.
Yeah, you gotta come for a tour. Come later.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm doing that. Tomorrow I'm going out to a property, possibly listing a property that has an adjacent oceanfront land. So kind of doing a walkthrough and evaluation today. This morning I was pulling up, comparables and what's sold in that area. So it's like investigating and being with people and making it happen.
Wait, when you're saying that, I'm thinking well, I'm thinking in my head, but I'm just gonna ask, like, what are some things you see or think someone that wants to get into real estate should have, like, personality traits and I guess skill sets?
Definitely, you have to care about people. Definitely, and you need to putting their best interests first. It's basically, I feel it's serving people, and especially with buying a home, it's such an important decision. And it's about serving people, detail, knowing your market, being familiar with the areas, what developments are going on. Is there a highway going through there? Is there going you have to know your area. I've been here since I was 1, so I feel like I know this area quite well. Yeah, I'm an expert.
Wait, so one, like, where were you the first year?
Yeah, I was born in Montreal. My mother's French Canadian.
Oh,
My
okay.
dad's British. She passed away when she was very young, when she was 44. My dad is still alive. He's 91. He's here.
Oh, so like,
Yeah.
why did he just, like, Montreal? I guess it's French, but did you ever talk about with him about the reason for his move?
Oh, absolutely. So he was the vice president of a chain of stores called Perrette in Montreal. It's a grocery store chain. And he had the opportunity with a partner to buy into a convenience store chain in Nova Scotia called Green Gables in the early 70s. So he did that. He grew it to 150 stores. And he was in some of the eastern states, also Ontario, New Brunswick, and PEI. He franchised about over 40% of his stores, but he tried to always own the gas station, own the apartment building, the strip mall. Like when I was driving down here, we drove by the Chebucto Road Needs, and I said, that was my dad's prized possession. And we still drive by it today, how many decades later, like, I paid $100,000 for that property. Now Sobeys owns it. It's worth millions now. So I got to hear about all of his real estate. I think that was his passion. It wasn't so much the convenience stores. It was the real estate that went along with his business.
Is that where that comes from for you?
I would say, yeah. My parents did have rentals as well. They had townhouses that they rented out. And so, he loved real estate. He loves real estate. He still does. Like,
wait, he still like does?
No, he's retired now.
Oh, okay.
But he does say it is the worst thing in the world and doesn't wish it upon anyone.
What?
So he comes from a time where working is I think a privilege, and he's from England. He went through the war. He still tells war stories, and he's very interesting. You can have him on next time. Yeah,
Okay.
very interesting guy.
So I mean, I guess everything that you do, one thing still shines through in whether it's real estate, whether it's what you do at spinning or that, is this spirit of volunteering. Where did that come from?
My mother used to volunteer. And we used to always donate our clothes to Add House. Like, she'd be like, okay, I'm taking a bag, get your stuff. And, well, in a French accent, but, and she did volunteer in different places as well. So yeah, she always gave back, and she was a very loving person. She was always helping everyone. She was a wonderful person.
Oh, well, yeah. So you're kind of keeping our legacy going.
Yes, I got a little bit of my mother, a little bit of my father. It's kind of mixed in. Yeah.
Okay, so you have, I guess, things going the way you'd like them to go.
Yeah.
But are there some plans you have in place for the next couple of years, or?
So I started having conversations with somebody. They'll remain nameless. Or, anyways, I really think there's an opportunity in our area to build more affordable residences. I see what's happening with the housing market, and the prices going up. But there's still opportunity to own, and I think we just need to rethink that. So I believe there's an opportunity for people to still get into the market and not have to pay $500,000. It's just having the right developers that believe in that, and people that want to buy and not want to rent. And I think there's a lot of people right now that, probably thought they could buy, and now they're like, the interest rates are going up, and the prices have gone up. But I think I'm really looking into this
Okay.
and yeah, having conversations with people about that.
No, that sounds amazing because now it makes me. I made a thing for CBC and kind of talk about housing here. And what I did was I have a friend. She was an international student, came here, and now working here, and we're just talking about what home means for her,
Yes.
right? And I mean, she loves it here, and she's kind of talking about her experience of how she, decided to move, getting. She said that she was a student, not a. I want to say student hall monitor, but that's not what it
Yeah.
is. But basically, they're kind of in charge of the residency, so you kind of
Okay.
live for free.
Yes.
And she was giving tips on how to make it work.
Yeah.
But all great tips. But one thing that stood out was like, I'm doing good now, etc, etc, but owning is difficult, right? Because
Yes.
like it's expensive,
It
like
is.
even just to get that down payment.
Yes.
So what advice would you give to someone, you are doing okay-ish, and I'm like, because it's crazy because there are some mortgages that are actually lower than your rent. I'm like,
Yes.
if I can pay this thing monthly and I'm fine, why can't I do this for my own
Exactly.
place,
I think there's an opportunity for people to get together and buy properties together.
Oh.
Buy it together. Why not? So there's homes that have maybe 2 or 3 units or a basement or even just a single dwelling where there's 2 or 3 bedrooms. Why not buy it together? It was probably not your ultimate plan, like having a single dwelling, but things have changed. But get into the market, buy something. Maybe you have a friend that you're sharing an apartment with. Why not share a house and own the house together? Why not? Like I think people need to look at that and get into the housing market, and then after that, maybe that's their entry. Build equity, stop paying rent, throwing money away, and then in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years, pull money out. Maybe you rent out that house at that point, and you buy another house.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds great because, well, that's something I would never think of.
Yeah, because you think you have no problem signing a lease
Right.
with a friend. Why not signing a mortgage? It's a little more complicated, but you're putting down half the down payment. You're splitting the down payment. Maybe there's 3 of you. I think people need to rethink it. It's already happening in larger cities in Canada, and I think based on our market now and the income levels, we could see it happening here.
Okay. I think I should have like a recurring segment where we just talk about tips for real
Get in the
estate and
market.
stuff.
Get in the market. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the one that really shocked me was when, you go on those websites and you look and they say how much you're paying and you're like, but my rent is,
Yeah.
400 or
Yeah.
whatever, 500 more. So like, why can't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
every year it goes down and down and down. So you're paying money to interest, but when you're paying $2,000 a month to rent, it's going. But if you're paying $2,000 a month to your mortgage, some of it is going to interest, but the other is going to principal.
Yep.
That's like a bank account.
Yeah, literally owning your stuff. Because, like,
Yes.
one of, so I'm not going to mention names, but one of the biggest people here in the city, I was just doing, just weird maths. And I was like, if they own, X amounts of buildings, every first of the month, like millions of dollars just
Yes.
jump into their account from all these hundreds of
Yes.
houses. I'm like,
Yes.
God.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. Pay yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, Jennifer, it's so great to talk to you. But before I let you go though, there's someone out there, a little girl, little boy, or whatever, and yeah, listening or watching, and they're like, oh man, she's doing all these things and doing all these amazing things. What, I guess, advice would you share with this person?
First of all, be careful who you take advice from.
Oh, wow. Okay, that one, like, even that, I'm taking that one because, I listen to a lot of people and sometimes I'm like,
Yeah. I think you really, really have to be careful who you take advice from. They do not, walk in your shoes. They have not had your experiences. They don't know what you're capable of accomplishing. So I think in my almost 50 years of life. That's one thing I've become more conscious of, because everyone's always giving advice very freely. Like everyone's an expert on everything, but I feel like you really have to be careful, because that can tweak your mindset. And mindset is everything. If you believe you can do something, you can do it. If you can't, you can't. Like, you know that saying. So I would say believe in yourself, dream big, set goals, take action, and you can make anything happen if you believe in yourself.
Wow. Jennifer, thanks. Maybe I'll go to that spinning thing if that's...
Yes! I would love to go spinning with you. It's so fun.
Oh, man. Thank you so much for coming to the
Thank you so
podcast
much
today.
Thank you for having me.